Check, check. President Gore, members of the board, good evening. We are proposing an M&O rate of 0.74840 and an interest and sinking rate of 50 cents, which is what was discussed in the budget workshops. We're also proposing a balanced budget of $27,979,181.
Any questions?
Now, for the public, this is the same as last year?
Correct.
No change?
Correct.
Okay. For the folks that's watching online?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions? Did anybody have any questions? No? Okay. Is that it? Okay, we'll go to item number 3, adjourn the public hearing. We'll go to number 4, call to order and announcement of a quorum at 6:01 p.m. If everyone would please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Lord, thank you for this time here today. Pray that you will bless us as we take care of the business of our school district and our community. Be with our students as the summer time comes along. Be with the community as we have our celebration for the 250th anniversary of this country. We thank you for all the blessings you have bestowed on us. Please watch over each and every one of us. So we ask all this in your name, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.
We'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Go to item 7, opportunity for public comment. And we do have someone signed up, Mr. Myers. And I have something that I'll read to you first, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Audience participation at a board meeting is limited to the portion of the meeting designated to receive public comment in accordance with this policy. At all other times during a board meeting, the audience shall not enter into discussion or debate on matters being considered by the board unless requested by the presiding officer. Individuals who wish to participate during the portion of the meeting designated for public comment shall sign up with the presiding officer or designee before the meeting begins as specified in the board's procedures on public comment and shall indicate the agenda item or topic on which they wish to address the board. Except as permitted by this policy and the board's procedures on public comment, an individual's comments to the board shall not exceed 5 minutes per meeting. The board shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. So you have 5 minutes. Kirby is going to set a timer, and when you get to 1 minute, she'll let you know that you're at 1 minute.
It'll be shorter, but okay.
Okay. And just whenever you're ready, we're ready.
Okay. Board members, my name is Michael Myers. I'm the Democratic candidate for House District 10 for Ellis County. I am running against Brian Harrison, who's a Republican, current Republican. Been in office 3 terms now. I would be surprised to hear if y'all have ever seen him. There's a couple of things you need to know. This is if the Democrats take the House, which we believe have a good chance, we only need to flip 13 seats to do it. This blue wave that you keep hearing about is a very, very real thing. It is coming. If you look at the polling numbers, you look at the polls that are coming through, there's a lot of Republicans, and I think you probably have some in here, this is a rural county, are very unhappy with what's going on. I want to speak to you for a second, though. Your main concern here, of course, is the schools. I've had some private conversations with Gina Hinoza, who is running for governor, and she has promised publicly and privately that the first thing she's going to do is to fire the head of the TEA. I'm sorry, not TEA, the school people, whatever. Anyway, he's gone. We are going to see what we can do about these vouchers. There was a meeting about 2 weeks ago in Austin where they are now looking at pumping in another $1.5 billion into vouchers. This thing is going to continue to grow if we don't stop it. And this is honestly our last real chance to do that. If the Republicans continue where we're going now with redistricting, they will control Texas politics for way into the future. So if we want to get rid of these vouchers, we want to help the school district be refunded and get the proper money coming in. We want to help with teacher retention. Now's the time to do it. This is not a blue issue. It's not a red issue. It is a public issue. And that's the way we need to start thinking about this stuff. I am not a left-wing liberal Democrat. I am straight down the middle, good old horse sense. Is the way I like to approach things. I'm not against Republican ideas. I'm not necessarily for them, but if they're a good idea and it works for the people of Texas, they're going to get my vote. Now, with that said, I want y'all to know that if I get in this office, this is going to change the way some things happen down here. First is you're going to have a voice in what goes on and the way I vote. We're going to build a tree, an email tree, and we're going to put all your emails on it. And every time I hear something going on up there that concerns schools, maybe even cities, you're going to get an email. And I'm going to try to build a consensus on what you think. And that's the way the vote's going to go. It's going to happen to all the city, the county, police departments, fire departments. Everybody's email is going, and you're going to start having some real communication with state government. That's the way it's supposed to be. It's a representative. Not what I think, which is what you have now, but it's what you think as a whole. And that's the way these votes are going to go. There's a lot of, I've been doing this now for about 5 months. I got into it in December. They got me to looking at this thing. The more I get into this, the more problems I see. Not only schools, about the data centers going up. They're taking away your power from school boards. They're taking it from cities and counties. We've got to get back to where the people can decide, and the people's representatives can decide on whether or not data centers go into the communities. You've got some beautiful land here. I have no idea whether a data center has been proposed or not, but I guarantee you people are looking at it. Right now, it cannot be stopped.
You're at 1 minute.
Okay. So anyway, I gave you a letter. Please read that when you get a few minutes. It's not just a card that a lot of candidates will give you. I gave you a little of my bio in it, what I believe in, and what I'm going to do if I get into office. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to item 8, presentation of design development by Huckabee.
Good evening, everyone. Mr. Gatewood, members of the board, good evening. I'm Brian Green. I'm with Huckabee. We're the architects hired by the district to handle the design project coming out of the bond, which is phase 1 of Venus High School. So is this on? Would be good. On is good. It's not working. And we're way too far ahead. You're showing you guys all the good stuff right away. Here we go. Yeah, I got the green. Wait. We're trying.
Sorry.
We're getting started. Come on now.
There it is.
Hey, wait, we're going the wrong. Oh, I'm going the wrong direction.
But you're saving and copying.
And that's it for me, folks. Thank you. Thanks for coming to Dodger Stadium. All right. So we are back at the beginning, and if this doesn't work, Rosie, I may just ask you to adjust slides for us. But this is a design development update for the Venus High School project. So the team of consultants have been hard at work with the district and the leadership design committee that's been put together to help shepherd this through the design process. We'll give you an update on schedule and budget at the end, but I wanted to give you an update on where we are in the project as a whole, let you see some of the development on the design side of things, see some new renderings, and I'll let Aaron talk through some of those as we get closer to that, but I'll go ahead and get us started. Next slide. And the next one. Brief acknowledgments of everybody that's a part of the team. Obviously, you guys can see up here there are a lot of team members internally with Huckabee, a lot of people with the district, and a lot of our consultants and engineers that have a significant role in all the things that you see today. Next. We are program of spaces has not adjusted significantly since we presented at SD. The phase one of the new building will be just under 115,000 square feet with 31 educational spaces, learning environment spaces that are going to have a capacity per the International Building Code. Some of the spaces that we will provide do not have a design capacity in the way that TEA or the building code looks at these buildings. So obviously the gymnasium, the cafeteria will all have capacity, but they're not the way we calculate the design capacity of the building. So if, as you see on the right there, the maximum capacity of this building is 774 students. Obviously, that doesn't mean, that means a full classroom of 25 kids in every classroom every period of the day. Obviously, that's not feasible, especially at a high school with the way that schools operate. There are going to be classrooms that are empty. There are going to be teachers that are on their conference period. So we show a functional capacity of 577, which is a few more than we anticipated in the bond. We've got a few additional spaces that we're able to squeeze in under program and within the budget. Next slide. This is not working. Batteries? No, I'll take care of it. So you guys have seen this. You guys have seen this site plan. This is the full build out for all future phases of the high school site. The south end is dedicated to the high school and all of its future aspects that will be on that site, including the green boxes that you see around the white high school space. That's future athletic, CTE, and fine arts components. And then to the right of the phase one building will be future academic wings. This is a long-range plan, a master plan for up to 1,500 students on this campus. Obviously, that's a little ways off in the future, but we always start here, kind of beginning with the end in mind, looking at, we've spent a lot of time dedicated to where we're placing elements on this site, both now and in the future. So there's space for a track and competition athletic field and the associated parking on this site, tennis courts, baseball, softball, which are all in a future phase, not going to be part of this design package. But the next slide will show you the phase one site plan as we're looking at it today. A little bit zoomed in. Only thing from an athletics perspective will be the 2 practice fields up there in the northwest. 2 parking areas. The parking area south of the high school will be striped for marching band practice. We'll have yard lines like a competition field, so the band can practice on that field, on that parking lot as well in off hours. And then you see phase one of the new high school as well. In the southeast corner of the site, a detention pond that's going to be required for runoff to meet city requirements and standards. Next. Okay, so this is the next level of detail looking at the floor plan that you guys have seen previously in schematic design. So there's more information on this page. There's been a lot of development internally with our team building in structural engineering, mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems. But the layout is not substantially changed for the most part from what you guys saw at schematic design. The west side of the building is still dedicated to athletics. Competition size gym will be your future practice gym when there's an arena built in a future phase. You've got locker rooms, showers, coaches' offices for indoor sports. Across the hall from that, moving east, is a new cafeteria that will currently house 2 lunches at the new high school with the ability to expand up to 3 as student population grows. A performance platform or stage that will serve for performances, presentations, assemblies for the campus. Across that hallway in the lighter green color is going to be the media center and library. There are some professional development spaces there, as well as a maker space that'll be associated not only with the stacks and books portion of the library, but the larger learning focus of that space. Across that main central spine of the building, which is kind of the commons area or sort of main lobby, the hub of the school, is the admin suite. There'll be a secure vestibule there, as well as all the office spaces needed for the campus to function. And then moving east, we get into the academic wing, the classroom spaces, a engineering and robotics lab, 2 CTE classrooms, a choir room, an art hall, art room up there in the upper right corner of the screen, 2 special education classrooms across the hall, and then the academic wing, which is the same at a first and second story. That's the 2-story portion of the building, with science labs and general education classrooms, as well as some teacher planning and teacher workspaces as well, kind of in that central hub of the academic wing. Next slide. This is a look at the second floor. As I mentioned, just that academic wing of the building is 2-story. And this is the portion you saw on the site plan. In future phases, we'll be able to add additional academic wings to increase student capacity as the district grows and as we have need for more educational space. I'll turn it over to Aaron now. Let him talk you through some of the more advanced 3D renderings and exterior concepts of the design of the building, as well as some of the interior stuff.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. So as you can see, this is the aerial view, kind of a bird's eye view looking from the south-southeast, looking toward, or south-southwest, looking towards the north-northeast. We are happy to say that there are no new surprises or any big major changes since SD phase. So we are tracking very much in the original design intent by the district, giving the whole new high school a really nice, not only facelift to a new building, but a whole new identity. If you could go to the next slide, please. So here, as you can see, this is a little more developed and a little more refined than the last time we presented. No new changes again, but it gives you an idea of that new identity and the new formal entry that the high school will have, and poises it not only for the new school, but for future phases to have that presence when you're coming down the highway. Next slide. This is the first academic wing, so this is the 2-story portion. That is the stair tower that is the closest on the right. So as the school grows and develops, this is prepared to build 2 more of these academic wings as future growth occurs. Next slide. This is the outdoor dining for phase 1. This is on the north side of that central core. This is strategically sized and placed to be set up to become the indoor expansion dining when the school is completely built out. So this is literally sized for that future growth in mind. Next slide, please. This is the first of the interior slides. This is the reception and waiting area. So this is the new look and feel when you first come in, and once you've come in that secure vestibule, what you'll be received by. Next slide, please. Once you've been received and you've gone through the check-in procedure, this is that core area that Brian pointed out that's kind of the central core of the building. You've got on the right-hand side, you get a glimpse looking into that open library. And then on the right side, you've got sort of an informal study lounge area that receives not only guests, but also for students when they are in between classes or early arrival or waiting, or they've got study periods. This is one of the number of places that they have the ability to go and break out versus having to be in a formal classroom. Next slide. This is from the far south corner within the library, looking back to the direction where we were just in. So this gives you kind of a glimpse of looking back towards the stacks and being able to see that large open wall that has the ability to close, but it shows you how open and inviting the library is versus feeling closed off over in the corner. Next slide. This is looking at what was on the left-hand side in the previous slide. This is actually looking into a couple things. The 3 and 4 are actually small collaborative rooms, so they could be focus groups for small study and collaboration. And behind that is actually 2 large library classrooms that are also set up to be used for professional development. So it's actually kind of multi-purpose uses. It's 100% library space, but it's been sized and prepared so that it takes care of faculty and staff needs outside of standard teaching scenarios. Next slide. And this is looking into the cafeteria. So if you were to come into the corridor as you're passing and you look to the right, this is looking into the cafeteria, sorry. You've got the stage there on the left side, and you've got the serving lines on the in the distance. And then over to the right is the glass that looks out to that outdoor dining area. So as you can see, it's a really nice open space prepared for not only lunch periods, but for extracurricular theater arts plays too. Next slide. And this is actually on the far end. If you were to come in through the gymnasium entry, this is what you would be received by, is that pair of double doors. When you come in, this is the lobby between the entry doors and what is the gymnasium itself. So as you can see, you've got concessions, men's and women's restrooms, as well as some small informal seating, so that it's really kind of preparing itself for those events, and there's space for people to gather beyond just going straight into the gymnasium. And this is the floor plan, phase one. But what this is actually showing you is actually the finishes that are going to be going into the building. It just kind of gives you a glimpse kind of from a 30,000 foot level of the things like the wood floor, the two-tone carpet in the library, some of the furniture arrangements and thoughts that have been gone into those things. But it also gives you an idea of like the science room layouts and the way those will be able to be utilized, as well as the different finishes, such as the polished concrete and things of that nature. Next slide. This is the interior finish palette. So this shows you not only all the materials, but it shows you all the colors. That is really taking school color and school pride and integrating it into the building. It shows you whether it's the solid surface counters of the interior reception area, or standard wall colors, accent wall colors, colors of the tile, all those different things. As you can see, they're all labeled. I won't go one by one over that, but
Please don't.
do what?
Please don't.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So I think that's really it. At that point, we can go to the next slide. I'm going to hand it back over to Brian.
Okay. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to hold this even though it's not working. So I just want to emphasize what Aaron kind of ran you through. I know this is y'all's first look, some of your first look at the interior images especially, but we've spent a lot of time with your leadership and with our internal team making sure that this is a modern, contemporary, forward-looking space for students in Venus ISD, but also with a focus on cost-effective materials, long-term durability, and really creating a space that the district can be proud of from every angle. So I think we've done a good job of that. I think this is going to be an absolutely wonderful space for your kids when we're ready to open the doors in 2028. If I can skip over to the scheduling portion of the discussion, that's what's up on the screen now. We've made it through schematic design and design development, which is our next layer of design efforts and coordination. A lot of work has gone into putting together the booklet that you see, as well as a set of documents that Core Construction, our construction partners, have priced. The next phase that we're moving into after tonight is construction documentation. That will end with a sign and seal set of permit ready and bidding ready documents on August 25th. That's the date you see on the screen there. We will move through, it's a large project, so a pretty significant period of bidding, procurement, cost estimating for Core, as well as permitting and city approvals for us. The annexation process is already underway, as well as several other studies that have to take place. So we've started that process. That should all wrap up with a GMP that Core will present to the board, currently scheduled at the November board meeting this year. And then you'll see a notice to proceed coming pretty quickly after that, with construction ongoing for about 17 months. That's Core's current schedule for construction, wrapping up with substantial completion on May 9th of 2028, with move-in, startup, and the district occupying the building for the fall semester in 2028. So a lot of work to get to this point, a long process, but exciting to see some of the fruits and excited to see us move into this next stage. Next slide. So the numbers that you see on the screen here, there are quite a few numbers, but this is a broad look at Corps' overall estimate of where we sit at design development. Their original design development estimate was at $64,980,000, or about $1 million over our construction budget, which is that first green bubble at the top of the page. The project budget, or the bond budget, is $76 million. That's inclusive of all fees, soft costs, permitting, furniture, fixtures, and equipment that will go into the building. So construction budget is something substantially less than that. That's our $63.8 million budget. There are still quite a few contingencies built into that project, owner and contractor contingency, which will be carried forward through construction. Those handle unforeseen conditions or changes desired by the district as we move forward with construction. There are also a couple of design contingencies or cost escalation, which are still built into those numbers. As we refine the design and get Corps more information, those escalation and contingency numbers will come down. So those will not be carried forward into construction. They're a safety net on the budget as we continue to develop the project and get them further information. So we were a little over $1 million over budget at their original estimate. Corps and Huckabee spent a lot of time coming up with what we're calling scope options or value engineering options to help save money, reduce some of the costs without reducing the overall scope and the final intended use of these spaces. There were some let's do this instead of that options that we generated. We generated a pretty long list, ran through the ones that the district wanted to accept. And so the final budget, we accepted about $1.7 million of those scope options, not removing any end quality that would be visible to the students or removing any square footage from the building. But we were able to trim some things here and there at this stage that get us to $63.2 million, which has us actually slightly under budget at design development. So we're hoping that meets with y'all's approval and appreciation, and we think the project is in a great place for us to move forward and bid and permit. Next steps, constructability reviews with Corps and Huckabee. Quality assurance and quality control team for enclosure reviews will also, before the project goes out to bid and permit, we'll have a full quality assurance, quality control process internally with Huckabee and with Corps. And we'll continue to develop scope options for bid day or for the end of the construction document phase to make sure that we stay on that budget of $63.8 million. Obviously, that's getting you guys a fantastic building that you can afford is paramount in this process. So those are our next steps and our focus moving forward. Questions?
Yeah,
I know
so
that was a lot.
That 63 number, that's all in everything.
63.8 million is all in everything that's, now I want to caveat that by saying everything that would be included in the construction contract. There are things not included in construction contracts, like what we've discussed with Mr. Gatewood, what we call FF&E, which is furniture, fixtures, and equipment. Some of that is smaller equipment that would typically be purchased by the district because you don't want to run it through multiple phases of markup through contractors and vendors. The things you would typically buy off a buy board, computers, printers, everything down to staplers and trash cans that's in a separate budget. That's the difference between 63.8 and 76, which was the bond number that was passed. Furniture, desks, chairs, teacher workstations, etc., are all included in that number. I think we've built a pretty robust budget to get the district what they need to furnish this building. So it definitely covers everything that you will need to operate the building. It'll be a fully functional building that is ready for the district to use outside of being filled with furniture. So there are certain parts of the equipment that are typically included in the construction contract, specialty stuff like food service equipment, athletic equipment, volleyball nets and poles, and basketball goals will all be included. What we wouldn't provide is, basketballs, uniforms, whistles, rolling carts full of sports equipment, that kind of stuff.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, you're welcome.
Any other questions?
Yeah, 2 questions.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard from Terracon?
I do not have an executive summary from Terracon. I know the cores are the borings are finalized,
Right.
and they are being analyzed at their lab. I'm supposed to have an early executive summary this week with the intent that a full geotechnical report or a preliminary geotechnical report would be ready in a week or two. So that process is moving forward.
Will we have a meeting Thursday?
Yes, we'll have a design meeting Thursday. We won't. I don't think we'll be ready to review geotechnical findings. We need to go over that internally before we present you guys with options and selections to be made. But that process is ongoing, but it is wonderfully no longer weather dependent. They're in an air conditioned lab now. You had another question. Oh, those were your two. Okay.
Any other
Anybody?
questions? No? Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys so much. Really excited for this next step and excited to see it through to the end.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
We'll go to item 9, executive session at 6:31 PM for 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, 551.082, and 551.0821. We'll go to item number 11, the consent agenda. I do have a question on item D, approve library book purchase. Are all of those books for our students? No adult books in there?
Yes, ma'am. Those are all for our student books.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, taking out item C.
A motion by Amber. Do we have a second? Second by Greg. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 12, approval of local policy changes as listed in policy update 127, including BJCF, CAA, CFB, DC, DHDP, local, DPA, local, DPB, EHAD, EHBB, EHBG, FFF, and that's it. Did we have any questions on any of those?
Is there anything important that,
Yes, ma'am. The one regarding the superintendent, right now, they've come up with guidance that the superintendent is can no longer push DEI. Like, I can't go out and say we're going to teach DEI, we're going to have DEI policies. That is cause for my non-renewal.
Any other questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the local policy changes listed under policy update. It was on the second
Motion
page.
by Amber. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 13, consider approval of student handbook for 26-27 school year. Dr. Vega?
I was going to stay seated, and then I was like, there's not really anyone here, but I thought, well, it'll just be official. Okay, so I bring to you student handbook updates for 26-27. There were you have copies of all three of the handbooks. There were no major updates. Noted a few things, just to let you know, they changed language from, or they added the term school staff misconduct in like the misconduct area. They removed the word sexual from child sexual abuse. So now it just says child abuse. So a lot of the changes were kind of, wording changes. They did add a section called school staff misconduct with possible warning signs. And there's about a 8 bulleted list. The handbook is really a communication device for parents to be able to read and use. And so they kind of lined out what school staff misconduct might look like. They added a section on private spaces, basically saying that in accordance with the law, we have to designate multiple occupancy private space in the building as gender specific. So male restroom, female restroom. So they added language about that. Added a little section on unauthorized persons. Basically, we don't have to give anyone a verbal warning before we eject them from a game. So they added that section, or any school-sponsored activity. And we corrected a lot of web links that they had put in previously that they needed to update, and those were updated. So that's all I have for you. That was really the bulk. Everything else was pretty much the same. Few things like changing interim superintendent to superintendent, like wording like that for us. But that's all.
Any questions?
You said 3.
3.
You said 3 handbooks.
Elementary and primary share a handbook. They're both listed on the same handbook.
So we have an elementary handbook and we have a secondary handbook.
No, we have primary and elementary, middle school, high school. I
know the
believe
same
that's-
process last year, sir, because the high school.
Now last year we had a secondary handbook and an elementary handbook.
No, I don't think so.
No, they wrote them together, but they were separate.
Yeah.
And only difference is the high school, you have stuff like drive to the high schools. They're pretty much carbon copy, but you just have graduation requirements,
Yes.
driving that stuff that only pertains to the high school.
Yeah, I'd say credits, what counts as a credit, what classifies you as a freshman, sophomore, senior, like those kind of things.
Have they been checked to make sure they follow all of our board policy? Because sometimes the state handbook comes out and it's not specific to our board policy. It's
Yeah,
specific to-
we took the handbook from last year and just amended it with what the updates were for this year. So they're all TASB recommendations.
Any other questions? No. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the student handbook for 26-27 school year.
Have a motion by Amber. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Go to item 14, consider approval of Amplify instructional materials purchase. Dr. Morgan?
Hello. So this is for Amplify, which is our reading language arts materials for kindergarten through 5th grade English and Spanish. This also will include the universal screener we use for kindergarten through 2nd grade math and kindergarten through 5th grade reading in English and Spanish. So combined, all of the pieces of it combined exceed the $24.99 limit. We do plan to use the instructional materials allotment for everything on quote 2, which is the instructional materials, and quote 1 is the M-class, the assessment materials. We have an assessment line item in the 199 budget.
Did anybody have any questions on this? No, and this is in our budget, but we've planned for all of this and, okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the Amplify instructional materials purchase.
Have a motion by Kirby. Do we have a second? Second by Amber. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 15, consider approval accepting donation of interactive displays from Aubrey ISD.
Good evening. Mr. Edgar Jackson, the technology director for Aubrey ISD, reached out with the opportunity to receive some gently used interactive displays. They recently refurbished their classroom technology with newer models, but they had 25 of these devices that were still in good shape with usable life left on them, and they're giving us the opportunity to take care of our students with them. I would estimate that the value of this gift is around $20,000. They're of a similar model to the interactive displays that VHS and VMS already have. If we were to purchase similar brand new devices, the 25 brand new similarly sized interactive displays would be around $52,000. Once we're able to purchase rolling stands, my plan is to deploy these to the high school campus. That's our only campus that doesn't have an interactive display in every classroom. So all that being said, my recommendation to y'all is to approve accepting Aubrey ISD's very generous gift.
So do you know the director there?
I have gotten to know the director.
I'm just wondering how they chose us. That was very kind.
Absolutely. We participate in the North Texas, it's a mouthful, the North Texas Area Technology Directors Association.
What was that?
Exactly, yeah. Say that 5 times fast. So it's a group of local technology directors that it's really just a big email chain where we get to bounce ideas off each other and say, hey, I'm trying to solve this problem. Has someone already solved it? And so it's a lot of things like that, but sometimes you get a gold nugget through there of someone saying, hey, I've got these things I don't need. Who needs them?
I think we need to send them a thank you card.
Absolutely.
That was very kind.
I'll get that ready.
With your picture, one of your pictures on it.
Holding it.
You know, one of your old pictures that are in the screen.
I'll do something extra special for you.
Yes. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the generous donation from Aubrey ISD.
Motion by Amber. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. That's really nice.
Mind if I can ask him a question about that?
Sure.
Is that something that, you can stay over there. Is that something we're just gonna pick them up? I mean, that's a truck full.
Yes, it's about 2 truck and trailers full. I plan on going this Thursday to get a load.
You got help?
I think it's doable. I got it. And Mr. Jackson's super helpful too, so he'll help out.
Go to item 16, consider approval of the annual compensation plan for 26-27 school year.
Good evening, President Gore, board members, and Superintendent Mr. Gaywood. Please consider the approval of the 26-27 compensation plan. The proposed plan was reviewed during the Budget 3 workshop, and no changes have been made since that time.
Anybody have any questions on that? Nope. Okay, do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Joe. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item 17, consider approval of 26-27 budget.
President Gore, members of the board, good evening. This is the 26-27 budget. Same function, same dollar amount that we discussed in the budget workshop 3. Same amount, 27,979,181, still balanced on the general fund budget. And also with the food service and debt service, same amounts presented at the budget workshop.
Anybody have any new questions from our last meeting on this? No. Do we have a motion?
I'll make that motion to approve the 26-27 budget.
Motion by Amber. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Kirby. All in favor? Motion carries. Go to item number 18, consider approval of final budget amendment.
This is the, there we go. It's only related to the general fund. This is balancing a lot of payroll items throughout the year. This 300,000 out of function 11. Earlier in the year, the very first budget amendment that we did was the retention stipend for $358,000, and that went straight into function 11. It wasn't balanced based on who you're coded per function. So that's going to be, we have definitely more instruction coded function 11 people at the district, but some of that is moving that out of instruction to balance some of the people who did receive the retention stipend. These small amounts, if they're close, that's where we're just kind of padding that a little bit. Function 41 is settling up a contract, and then some of the other amounts are just padding based on its expenditures or payroll. And if there's any questions, I can.
Any questions? No? No. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve the amendment, the budget amendment.
Got a motion by Greg. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Amber. All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go to item number 19, reports. Mr. Gatewood.
Yes, ma'am. Before we get started here, I'd like to send a big congratulations out to the Taffy and the TSA students as they head out to compete in nationals. I know they're going to go out there and represent Venus ISD proud, so we're pulling for them this year week as they take off. Also, summer athletic camps are underway in full swing across the district. We hosted our second annual 7-on-7 football tournament, and our kids really got after it. It was a bigger tournament than we had the first year, so our kids really competed quite a bit. New high school project update. Progress continues on the future Venus High School. A couple of milestones that's been achieved. Terracon has completed all geotechnical borings and field work across the future high school site. Venus ISD has executed a professional service agreement with the City of Venus to support utility planning and infrastructure coordination. And annexation paperwork for approximately 155 acres has been submitted to the city. And that's pretty much all I have. We're just rocking and rolling. We're just planning for the school year.
I have a question for you. When will we have our the grades for the campuses?
Yes, ma'am. The grades for the campuses, we don't quite have them yet. OTA actually has those out in August, but we're hoping to get a predictor pretty quick once we get all the information. The holdup right now is we don't have the science scores. But I will say this here, I am cautiously optimistic looking at, and I know Dr. Vega, I don't want to steal some of her thunder. She's going to talk about this a little bit. Looking at our raw data, comparing us to the state and comparing us to last year, some campuses comparing us to in the past 5 years. This is the best they have performed. So I think we're going to be, I'm cautiously optimistic that we've made some great progress and we're headed down the right direction. Just, I don't want to make a prediction until I can accurately make one, ma'am.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. Dr. Baker? Yes.
I was like, let me talk. I want to talk about STAR. So, because I had asked Mr. Gatewood, I was like, can I talk about STAR a little bit? He's like, yeah. So, also I get really excited to talk about things like this. But, so I just wanted to highlight some of our areas of growth. We did have some ups and downs across the whole district, but overall, like Mr. Gatewood said, we really saw growth, even if it was, not double digit growth, but really with STAR, any growth shows you're going in the right direction. And so I was really proud of our campuses. So the elementary campus saw growth in almost every single area tested. So that is great. In kind of all three of those categories, approaches is you passed, meets is around a 75 usually, and then masters is around an 85. So when you think about those thresholds, so they saw growth in all of those areas. Some areas to specifically highlight: third grade math. Last year to this year grew in the approaches, which is the passes, almost 20 percentage points. So that's really huge for STAR. And then we saw growth also in fourth grade reading in our meets and masters. That's important because we're with our current accountability system, we can't focus on just who passed the test, right? We have to focus on growth, and that's what's good for kids. Every kid deserves to grow. Even if you were already making a 75, you deserve to grow too. So that'll really be our mantra as we move, started this year and as we move into next year. And so they saw growth in those meets and masters categories in fourth grade reading. Fourth grade math also saw double digit gains in several areas. And then fifth grade math also saw gains. So way to go to elementary. We're super proud of them. Middle school had significant growth in a lot of areas. Seventh grade math particularly went from 29% approaches to 43% approaches, which is pretty in line with the state average for seventh grade math. So that was really significant. Those numbers didn't sound high, but when you looked at the state average, you were like, oh, okay, we're there. Eighth grade reading also grew, which was great. And eighth grade math grew more than over 20 percentage points in eighth grade math. So kudos to the middle school there. And then the high school, we saw growth, significant growth in English 1 in all three kind of categories. And Algebra 1, this was significant because we had in Algebra 1 some staff leave in the middle of the year. And so Mr. Camacho had to really kind of make some adjustments. That was across the board. Adjustments had to be made, but particularly there, that was an area that we were really proud of him. We saw significant growth in masters, which is that higher echelon scoring in biology. So that was really great. The passing standard for biology is lower. So a lot of times you see high passing or approaches numbers in biology. Like we were at 91%. That's amazing. So what's really cool there is that we grew in that master's category again. So those our higher scoring kids also grew, not just our kids to get to passing. We did great in U.S. history as well. So Mr. Gatewood and I are super proud of the principals and the teachers and the staff, and I'm really excited for what is to come for next year. I feel like we are setting the stage to do great things. Other things besides STAR, we had observation feedback training with Region 11. That went really great, so that we're kind of setting the principals up for a coaching model for next year so that we grow our teachers as well. And then we did our first round of Bluebonnet, I think we did two rounds, first round of Bluebonnet training for the new curriculum coming in. We had a lot of good feedback from that. A lot of folks were thankful that we did that early in May so that or end of May, but early in the summer. So they feel like they have time to really grapple with those documents and kind of all of the curriculum before we just hit the ground running. And we'll be offering more as we get closer to the school year. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then Laney?
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, coordinating with Mr. Martinez and Priscilla to get all the new employees in and make sure the existing employees have stipends based on what we've discussed, and developing a system and procedure going into next year that makes that data cleaner, and then make sure that we understand exactly what goes into the payroll side and we have a very good idea of it. And as far as the budget workshops next year, we're going to start early. That way we want to make sure that we're all on the same page on what's going on.
We appreciate the meetings that you had with us for sure, and letting us ask all the questions that we asked. And I can only speak for myself, but I really came out of it. I felt a lot more educated this time than I have since I've been on the board. So thank you.
It was definitely a learning opportunity for me too, especially being new to this seat, but I really did enjoy them. It was voices were heard, opinions were heard, and information was given, and that's ultimately what we want, is information to act on, that we were all on the same page, and I was happy to have that.
Okay, I've got one question for Lenny.
Yes, sir.
I know that the Central Appraisal District is behind. There's some appraisals that haven't even gone out yet. Is there any potential surprises out there?
Not Not that I'm aware of. We still should be receiving certified values in July.
That may not happen because the appraisal should have already gone out, and the protest are allowed 30 days after they're received. Some of the appraisals have not even gone out yet. I saw the other day that they won't go out until the 18th.
Okay.
So
I'll
they're-
look into
they're
that.
running way behind.
Okay. They have been sending us updated values monthly. I've been getting those, so but I'll at least check into that for sure and get you an answer.
Any other questions? No? Any other reports that anybody had any questions on?
I mean, I just wanted to add, I know Dr. Vega covered those gains, and I want to send a big thank you to the campus principals because you, and I know I probably gave Dr. Morgan whiplash when I first took this job. Hey, we got to change this, change that, and bringing Dr. Vega in late and those campus principals buying in. I can have the greatest game plan, but they have to go out and execute it. And I want to give them a big shout out for going out and executing the game plan because it can't happen without those campus principals. Like I tell them all the time, they are the thermostat, and their campus is a thermometer. They set the temperature on their campus. So those gains are a direct reflection of their leadership.
We'll go to item 20, board request for additional items. Anybody?
I would like to request, I know you have hiring authority, but just as we're doing like these mass hirings, however the pace you want to send it, but just like an Excel sheet of like the hires you've made that week or biweekly or however you see that. I know you do send us resumes and stuff kind of, sporadically, but if we could just kind of keep a consistent list of just hires that you've made, if you don't mind.
There used to be a spreadsheet that we would get that would have that information, so it may still be floating around somewhere. Okay.
Were there any, I know we approved handbooks, and within that is the student dress code. Were there any updates to our dress code?
I don't think the dress code specifically was part of the handbook. And I can go look and double check, but we did not, that wasn't part of what we reviewed together. But I can look.
So
is that part of the
handbook? Is that now
handbook?
a separate document that goes out to the parents so if they have an issue with the dress code, typically they go to the handbook, and the handbook would have all the information that their kids would be for the, I don't know how they do it now. I don't know, that's
My only thought is kind of the same way with Randall. If we're changing something, we need to get it out sooner than later.
Yeah,
so
I don't think there's any
parents can-
I don't think there's any recommended changes to it, but I was just wondering if it was part of the actual handbook in Venus ISD, so I can.
that was my confusion on the three handbooks, was that
Okay.
we always have a secondary dress code and the elementary
Yes.
dress code, but
Yeah.
the dress code was always in the handbook. So
that would have stayed the
Yeah.
same because there was no recommendation to change it. And I met with the principals and we all talked together. We didn't talk specifically about dress code, but the entire handbook. So, but I can follow up with them on dress code and make sure there's not anything they want to.
I mean, it's getting to be July, so if there's a dress
No one
dress
brought
code
anything
change,
up. Do you know what I'm saying? No one was like, oh, I feel like
Well,
we need to really change this.
we
So.
struggle for the second or third year with consistency between the two secondary campuses. So it'd be nice to have a consistent dress code to where
It is a consistent one, I do
games
know,
and
for secondary. Like, I do know that's a consistent, I asked that question about dress code, and they said secondary has their one and elementary has one. So it's not different for middle school and high school.
I was just gonna say, in the handbook currently, it just addresses dress and grooming, and it says all grade levels. It gives a paragraph about dress code and teaches grooming, etc. Students and parents may determine a student's personal dress and grooming standards, and it just says the addendum at the end of the handbook, but doesn't have like the specific do's and don'ts in the handbook.
so where would a parent go to?
I bet it's on the website.
It is,
Yes.
so it's just a different
Last year
document, and I
it was
think.
on, like the school's website,
Mhm.
but I don't know when they're gonna put that out.
So there's a dress code separately on the homepage. It has like student handbook, code of conduct, dress code. So it's just a different document. Yeah, it's just a different document. Yeah.
We'll look at the dress code, but again, no one brought up any like needed changes, and so we'll just make sure there's nothing. But otherwise, that'll just be rolled forward if
Yeah.
there's no changes needed.
But I do agree. I do think if you guys are like, I'm used to seeing just a brochure that goes out to parents, like here on the website. This is the dress code for 26-27 school year with some visuals. You get a couple of student models. You dress them in the dress code, and you post it out there so it's clear. You're right. As parents get ready to, I know it's June 15th, but a lot of parents like to shop early for school.
And historically, they did that. We started that when our kids we reestablished Fish Camp when our kids went into high school. And I think they've been pretty consistent about that. You might want to check with the high school, but I do know that they do exactly what you're talking about. Last year they got like student council members and kind of did a whole presentation. But again, that was Fish Camp. That was right before we started school. So
We can see about doing like a social media post too, like
Yeah.
that way, and
Yeah,
send out on
and
parents'
fifth
wear.
graders come to sixth grade, that's a big change.
Mhm.
And so it just,
Yeah. Always a good idea to communicate that.
it's
Yeah.
been a while, I guess. Since
Anybody else have any requests for anything? Go ahead. Happy anniversary to you, and happy anniversary to you too, because it's also your anniversary. So y'all really know how to treat your wives on y'all's anniversary. And y'all are still married. Wow. Okay. And then our next board meeting is July 20th, and we will adjourn at 7:37 p.m.